Latest on Luka?
He's progressing. He has continued to ramp up his activity over the last week. He scrimmaged yesterday for a significant amount of time. He scrimmaged today for a significant amount of time. And so nothing's changed. The hope is that he can play on Wednesday. It'll be, it'll depend on how he feels, how he tolerates these 2 days. But all in all, he's doing well.
What has allowed your offense to still be as efficient as it has been without him?
Well, we have depth. We have guys that can space the floor, and we've been moving the ball fairly well. In the Charlotte game, I think we had the most passes that we've had the entire year, which is a great thing, and that leads to a lot of other good things happening at both ends of the floor. And against Utah tonight, because of how well they defend and because of Gobert in there and all that, we're going to have to continue to move it, space it, drive it, and hit shots.
When you put this team together and looked at it, did you think there was a chance you could have the best offense ever in the game?
Well, we just, as the team was coming together over a period of years. I mean, the idea is always to get high character guys that are multi-dimensional, that have length, that can shoot the three and play defense. And you want to have big guys that can shoot. And so, we've been able to get a lot of those pieces. And but in terms of targeting a rank in the league in a statistical department, no.
You did the
I think it's important that you can shoot. Don't get me wrong on that. But there was not. Every team wants a lot of shooting.
You did the basketball without borders trip this summer to Latvia, if I'm not
Well,
mistaken. How was that experience, just from your perspective?
It was great. Riga's a wonderful city, and I don't know what the weather's normally like in early June, but it was like being in San Diego for 4 days. I mean, it was phenomenal, and the city has great tradition. It's beautiful. It's friendly, and all the kids that participated, were terrific, and. I was there. Jamal Mosley, one of our assistants, was there. Kristaps, Porzingis was one of the Latvian players. The two Bertans brothers were there. Kristaps was there from Brooklyn, and there were a few other NBA players as well. So it was really great experience.
Rick, are you at all mystified by this team's success on the road versus its lack of success relative to that at home, 18-8 versus 14-13?
Yeah, we've just got to pick it up at home. That's the bottom line. At this point, analyzing why something is or isn't, may be a small part of the solution, but the bottom line is we got to do better, and we got to do better, to start games and then throughout at home. This happens occasionally with NBA teams. It's happened to us in the past, not to this extreme, but hey, tonight's another night. Utah's a great team. I mean, they had an unbelievable win last night, and a huge play at the end, and stuff like that. These guys are rolling. They've really been rolling for the last month or even longer than that. And we just got to put our best game together from start to finish.
For some of the adversity that this team has gone throughout the season, where's the line between chalking it up to a young team that's learning versus it not being acceptable to you? Where does that fall?
Well, you're referring to, a list of things that, injuries too?
Well, just stuff like the end of Washington game and just things like that.
Yeah. we're an evolving team. It's there's a great necessity to be patient because of the youth. Because of the youth of our 2 star players too. And there are going to be ups and downs, but as a staff, we've got to be as consistent as possible. We've got to remain positive and accentuate positive things while pointing out and working to correct the negative things that happen. The game in Washington was, that was painful. But the next morning we got together and we watched some of what happened. We watched a lot of the good things that we did. We identified, a couple of things that we needed to do better from start to finish against Charlotte, who had beaten us here, a month or so ago, and that was, another real disappointing loss, overtime loss. And our guys, they took the challenge and they defended well. I mean, we played without both Luka and KP, which is tough. We got back on track for that night, and so carrying it to tonight, is another challenge. But overall, I really like this team. In some ways, we're very close to to reaching slightly higher levels, but it's all about consistency. And so we just got to stay on that message. We've got to keep believing in the guys and in ourselves as a group and keep going.
Rick, obviously Gobert and Mitchell are mainstays of the success that Utah's had recently. But in light of what he did last night in Houston, what do you feel like Bogdanovic has added to the mix for them?
Well, Bogdanovic has gotten better and better over the last 3 years in particular. Defensively, he's become an impact caliber player defensively. Everybody knew he could shoot. He's become a better driver of the ball. He now posts up. They use him in isolation situations. He's worked extremely hard in his game. That's obvious, and he gives them another playmaker and another scorer and another big wing that can do a lot of things, on both sides of the ball. So, I have great respect for how his game has continued to evolve. When I think 3 or 4 years ago, people looked at him as a guy that was skilled, but not multi-dimensional, and he is really taken his game to newer levels over each of the last 3 years.
With big players shooting more from the outside or teams going smaller, what is it about Gobert that sort of flies in the face of all that and he stays as a dominant player?
Well, they're very well coached. Quinn's a great coach, and they have a system that really accentuates the great things that he does. He knows exactly where to be on the floor at all times. He never compromises their spacing. He's always creating a problem in the paint area with rolls or putting himself in position to follow misses. And his free throw shooting has gotten better. So, he's an amazing player, and defensively, there are just some things that he can do that aren't related to conventional shot blocking. Like, there were a couple plays in our last game where we had quick guys drive the ball by him, and he was able to make up ground and still get there and block the ball without a goaltend. And so he's another guy that has evolved more and more each year. And I don't, in terms of defensive player of the year, I mean, he's way up there again. I'm not exactly sure who's in the mix, but he's going to be a hard guy to dethrone.
Hey there, NBA fans. For exclusive NBA content, subscribe to Fanatics View YouTube down below.